Some books have this incredible ability to leave an indelible mark on your life. Whether it's their unique writing style or simply the perfect timing when you first read them, their lessons stick with you, sometimes forever. For me, one such book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I mean, it's all in the title, right? The blunt, no-nonsense approach of this book just clicked with me. I've read it cover to cover about 3 to 4 times in the past couple of years, and every time I walk away with a fresh perspective. It's helped me uncover the secrets to happiness and deal with life's challenges head on. Now, here's the twist. This book is about not giving a fuck, but in the most unconventional way. It's all about choosing the right things to care about, focusing on the values, relationships, and what truly matters. And it has some pretty unorthodox insights on happiness, urging us to embrace failures and pain while picking our battles wisely. Today, I'm excited to share with you 10 powerful lessons I've gleaned from The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck that have made a lasting impact on me. So, stick around, because you're in for some real gems of wisdom. And if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Let's dive into these life-changing lessons from Mark Manson's masterpiece. Lesson 1. It's okay that life sucks. You know, it's perfectly fine that life can sometimes be challenging. In fact, it's an essential lesson to understand. Life doesn't always follow our plans. Things go sideways, people let us down, and bad stuff happens. We'll face unfair setbacks more often than we'd like. But guess what? That's just a part of the human experience. Mark had a great point when he said that the constant craving for positive experiences can actually make us feel worse. Strangely, accepting the difficult parts of life is what brings us a sense of positivity and growth. So, when you stop obsessing about trying to control every little detail of your life, something magical occurs. Even if things don't go exactly your way, it won't hit you as hard because you're no longer in denial. You've embraced the fact that problems are a natural part of life's journey. You're no longer exhausting yourself, chasing after something that might never come. It's about finding peace in the process, not just the end result. Lesson 2. Happiness comes from solving problems. Let's talk about a big misunderstanding when it comes to happiness. Many of us think that our happiness depends on external things, like landing a dream job, having a stunning partner, driving a fancy car, or swimming in a sea of money. We spend our lives chasing these things, believing they'll bring us joy. We crave a life without problems, where everything's smooth sailing. But here's the truth. Problems are a part of life, and they're not going anywhere. When you solve one problem, you're just swapping it for another. Fix the issue of not spending enough time with your family, and suddenly, you're figuring out how to fill that time. Problems never stop. They just change shape. Happiness comes from solving problems, not avoiding them. You've got to be proactive, not passively waiting for happiness to fall from the sky. It's an ongoing process, constantly evolving as you work at it. Today's solutions create tomorrow's problems, and the cycle continues. True happiness arrives when you solve problems you genuinely enjoy dealing with. As Mark Manson puts it, to be happy, you need something to solve. Denying your problems or playing the victim might get you some attention or sympathy, but it won't lead to happiness. In fact, it can make things worse and create more barriers between you and your joy. Lesson 3. We're wrong about everything. Think of personal growth as an ever-evolving journey. When we learn something, we're not going from completely wrong to right. Instead, it's more like going from wrong to slightly less wrong. And as we keep learning, we move from being slightly less wrong to being even less wrong. So the point is, we're always somewhere on the spectrum of wrong, but that's not a bad thing. As we gather better information, meet new people, gain different perspectives, and live our lives, we're constantly adjusting our beliefs, inching closer to the truth and perfection, even though we might never quite reach them. The key here is that we shouldn't stress about finding the one right answer for everything. Instead, our goal should be to be a little less wrong every day. Some people get so fixated on being right that they forget to actually live their lives. They're afraid to admit they don't know everything, and as a result, They miss out on the opportunity to form better beliefs and truly understand themselves, let alone the world. Saying, "I don't know," is like opening a door to new learning experiences. Being wrong isn't something to fear. It's a chance to change and grow. So, don't be afraid of being wrong. Embrace it, because it means you're on the brink of discovering something new and exciting. Lesson 4. Failure and pain are the way forward. You know, our fear of failure often takes root during our school years. It's where we get used to this constant comparison game, being judged and even punished based on our academic performance, both by our parents and our teachers. Some parents can be pretty strict, not letting their kids make the simplest mistakes, and that can hinder them from gaining their own experiences and learning from their own errors. So, later in life, when they encounter failure or rejection, they're kind of lost on how to deal with it. As Mark Manson puts it, we can only truly succeed at something if we're willing to fail at it. See, the fear comes from putting all our focus on goals that are external and often beyond our control, rather than valuing the process itself. If you're constantly measuring your self-worth by how others react to you, you're setting yourself up for misery because your success or failure becomes entirely dependent on what others do or say. It's kind of like how our brains are wired to avoid pain at any cost. We naturally choose the easiest path, the one with the least discomfort. But here's the thing. Pain is a part of growth. Just like physical pain helps us build strength and endurance, emotional pain is crucial for developing emotional resilience and strength. As 𝐌𝐨 𝐕𝐢𝐝 wisely points out, your real-life story is basically a collection of the challenges and sacrifices you've faced. When you look back at the interesting things you've done, they're often centered around the hard things you tackled. So, remember, failure and pain are not enemies. They're essential stepping stones on your path to growth and self-discovery. Lesson 5. Choose your fuck wisely. The world we live in today, especially with the influence of social media and consumerism, they're constantly pushing you to care about everything. They'll convince you that you're not good enough, that you need a fancier car, a bigger house, a more attractive partner, a trendy haircut, or lavish vacations. Their message is clear. These are the only ways to be popular, to fit in, to feel like you matter. And guess what? They want you to care about all of this because it's good for their business. The problem is, when you start caring about everything and anything, it's like a wrecking ball to your mental health. First, they'll poke at your deepest insecurities and vulnerabilities, and then they'll tell you that buying more stuff is the solution. It's a dangerous game that can make you obsess over things that are shallow and fake. You end up dedicating your life to chasing illusions of happiness and satisfaction. The real secret to a good life? Well, it's about being selective with the things you care about. Don't just hand out your fucks like they're candy. Reserve them for what truly matters in your life. The things that genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment. Lesson 6. Choose your struggles. It's a common question. What do you want in life? And most of us would rattle off a list of desires. But here's the kicker. The biggest source of our unhappiness is that we want a whole lot of things, but we're not always prepared to work for them or endure the struggles that come with them. Think about it. Many folks want those elusive six-pack abs, but they're not keen on enduring the pain of countless crunches and sticking to a strict diet. Similarly, plenty of people desire a truly healthy relationship, but they often shy away from the discomfort of difficult conversations, those awkward silences, and the emotional and psychological hurdles that accompany it. Here's the deal. Genuine fulfillment and meaning in life have to be earned by carefully selecting and managing our struggles. There's no such thing as a pain-free life. We all have to face pain, but what we can choose is which pain we're willing to put up with and which pain we're ready to endure. Oftentimes, we're infatuated with the end result and overlook the journey that gets us there. You can't reach your goals without going through the process. So, the key to success isn't just about what you want to enjoy, it's about understanding what pain you're willing to bear. In essence, who you are is shaped by what you're willing to struggle for. The true joy isn't just at the mountain's peak, it's in the journey, the climb itself. Lesson 7. We are 100% responsible for our life events. You see, at the end of the day, the choices we make are like the steering wheel of our lives. They determine the values we hold dear and how we react when life throws us a curveball. It all boils down to taking responsibility. It's about saying, "This is my life, and I'm calling the shots. I'm responsible for what happens, including the problems that pop up." Mark Manson hit the nail on the head when he said that the crucial difference between a problem being a source of pain or a source of strength often comes down to whether we actively choose it and take responsibility for it. So, once you grasp the idea that you have the power to decide the path your life takes, it's like having a secret weapon in your arsenal for dealing with life's challenges in the best way possible. Lesson 8. You are not different. As we go through life, we might start believing that we're somehow special, maybe thinking we're better than everyone else or feeling like the world is just out to get us. But here's the thing, we're not exceptional. You, me, all of us. We all have our fair share of problems, just like everyone else. Mark Manson puts it perfectly when he says, "People who feel entitled see every event in their life as either proving their greatness or threatening it. It's like they're constantly seeking validation." Now, if we all tried to be extraordinary, well, that's where it gets tricky. If everyone's extraordinary, then the whole idea of being extraordinary just loses its meaning. Being extraordinary only stands out because it's surrounded by the norm, by mediocrity. But that doesn't mean we should settle for average. We can and should strive to be better at what we do, to aim for perfection. However, we need to accept that we might never truly reach perfection, and being extraordinary might always remain just out of reach. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. Lesson 9. Fear of failure is your biggest enemy. Failure is a big, big part of life. Think of it this way. To become a real pro at something, you've got to embrace thousands of failures along the way. These failures, they're like those rough drafts of life, where you learn from your mistakes and fine-tune your approach. It's all about getting better and better through constant improvement. It's like the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Now, what holds many people back is the fear of failing. It's like this big, scary monster that can paralyze us and stop us from making progress. But here's the truth. Instead of worrying about failure, we should just go ahead and try again. It's kind of like a badge of honor on the road to success. As Mark Manson put it, we can only truly succeed at something if we're willing to face the possibility of failure. If we're not willing to fail, then we're also not willing to succeed. Lesson 10. You'll die. Embrace it. The first step to defeating entitlement is to recognize it, to be aware of its presence in our lives. It's like shining a light on something that's been lurking in the shadows. Now, when it comes to death, it's a topic that often scares us. It's this big unknown, and humans tend to fear what they don't fully understand. That's why many people shy away from discussing it or even acknowledging its existence. But Mark Twain had a fascinating insight on this. He said that our fear of death often stems from our fear of truly living. When you wholeheartedly embrace life, you're not as afraid of the idea of death. It's like you're prepared for it at any moment. When you confront the concept of death, it's a wake-up call. You start thinking about the legacy you want to leave behind and realize the incredible power you have to shape your own life. Suddenly, those shallow, superficial values you've been following just don't hold the same weight. By embracing the idea of death, you understand that your life isn't just meaningful. You have the power to make it profoundly meaningful. To put it simply, this book helped me see that I've been going after values that don't really matter. It also reminded me how important it is to not just accept, but fully welcome all the different feelings we go through, whether they're tough times like pain and failure or the great moments of happiness and success. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an upload and you can enjoy the excellent content I send your way.